can't let success be an idol. True success is having peace in this world while giving God glory. And honestly, that's really what we're here to do, is to spread the will of God. I mean, and spread the name of God as well. That's what our mission, what our assignment is. Anything else is secondary after that.
I think you have to come to grips and reconcile with the idea that you're not you don't control everything about your life. You have to eventually, if you're going to be a believer, you have to reconcile with the fact that your life isn't your own, that you have given your life over to the Most High.
I mean, let's call it expectations. That's it. Just expectations.
Expectations. Anything else?
Actually, no, that's it. That's pretty much it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
You didn't hear me?
Yeah, man. Or hit him with that.
No, because I know
Amen.
somebody else that does that.
Really?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I just get from Usher, but then shoot, if someone does like that.
No, you good. You good. Do your thing, bro. It's part of who you are. I'm not saying nothing. I was just saying it reminds me of you. Just reminded me of. Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh,
it's too early for
so
this.
sorry.
You're like, I'm sorry. That was not supposed to be expected.
Especially unmuted.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different story if it's muted. Like, okay, like I know I got a yawn, let me press mute, but I ain't doing it in time.
It's my birthday tomorrow, Rodney.
Hey man, turn up, man.
I know I'm getting up there, bro.
Cause what age is this? What age is this?
Hey, ain't no mile marker, bro. I'm turning 31. I'm good.
Okay, Breck, turn up. I say, don't worry. I was not about to pull the Kevin Hart when Don Cheadle. I was not going to pull that card. I was not going to do that.
Y'all did last year on the cruise. Oh my God, Mike, you are getting old. You're turning 30 on the cruise. It is, and I'm like, bro, like, there's no difference between 29 and 30. Like,
wait,
I'm saying,
did I say that too?
Yes, you did, and you just turned 30 a couple months ago, and I ain't to trip over that.
Okay, I was not in my right state of mind during that whole.
Oh, you sure wasn't, but we ain't going to go into that because
we're not going to do that.
I ain't trying to put your business out there.
All things that passed away. Yes. Okay.
Bro, I recently just.
What's up?
I got to stop. Lynn
says, right there. Oh,
Lynn
sorry.
said something, and I had to.
Had to refrain from.
No, it wasn't refraining. I had to remind him.
Oh, about invasion.
Yeah, well,
invasion. Okay.
Yeah. Basically,
that's the best way I could say it. Invasion.
Yeah,
that's
basically.
funny. That's funny.
Oh, I wonder how Ukraine is doing now.
I'm sure Ukraine is fine. On all areas.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ukraine's doing good in all areas.
They're kind of at a stalemate with Russia right now. And it's kind of weird that Russia's kind of become this kind of like pathetic when it comes to this because they didn't put money into their military budget the way they said they did, which is what pushed us to do what we did is the United States and how much money we threw in the military budget because Russia kept talking about what they were doing and we thought we were in an arms race with them. And it turns out we were in an arms race with ourselves. We're competing with ourselves every year.
Exactly.
And so they sat there and, there's parts like of Ukraine right now where like the Russians can't get into because the Ukrainians just took a bunch of old Soviet, which are Russian. They're using their own old World War II weapons against them and they're effective. They put a bunch of World War II landmines out there in fields and the Russians can't cross it. It's embarrassing. Full tactical and technological failure on Russia's part for a lot of this stuff. It's like dang, bro, like maybe you should have been, actually upgrading your military this whole time instead of talking all that mess. You know,
Exactly.
real G's move in silence.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
Usually, the loudest person at the table is the weakest one.
Mm. Yeah, that was did say that. That was did say that. Yeah.
Oh well. Welcome to the Godman Podcast, everybody.
Welcome once again, yo. This your boy Rock.
And this is Mike, and we are not trying to talk about politics like that today. It was
Yeah.
just it just came off of a funny joke. So how y'all doing, peoples? We doing fine.
Yeah, we're doing very good, very good. We're alive yet again. The Lord has blessed us to be alive once again.
Right, and Rodney has us talking about something today.
For sure, yeah. Today's definitely gonna be a good podcast today.
I said something because I forgot already.
That's okay. I think that's why kind of the topic was kind of my idea, so we can you won't have to put as much energy and thought into it of remembering, because
Hey, bro, you call me stupid?
I ain't say stupid. I'm just saying you just have a lot on your mind right now.
You trying to call me old and stupid? Because, like,
I mean, if 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 the black forces fits,
and those black forces could be in Cleveland tomorrow.
please.
I'm joking. It's actually not possible right now.
Unfortunately, we would definitely be in worship.
Financially speaking, it's not possible right now.
Financially, it's not, but we gonna make it happen. We gonna make it happen. But just to continue on, so today we're talking about expectations, specifically just speaking about the plans that we make versus the plans that God makes, and just sometimes when we do make these certain plans and they fail, we tend to, in a sense, blame God for the fact it didn't fall through. Like Mike, it could be plenty of examples. It could be to the fact of, okay, by 25, I'm gonna have an 800 credit score. I'm gonna drive a Mercedes Benz. I'm gonna get married, have me three kids. I'm gonna have a 6-figure business. By the time you hit 30 or 32
With abs.
Mike, by 32, none of that has happened. You put that on your vision board, you prayer list, ain't none of those things happens yet. And sometimes we do get those things because, like how I said before, we get a sense of God is not present. He doesn't love us. He has something against us, or the fact that he has better things to do. And these are the thoughts that sometimes we do have when things that we planned for does not go according to as planned. And the reason why I really want to talk about expectations is because I feel like we all desire something, especially as a believer, when you definitely know God is sovereign and God is good and God is God and He's our Father. And we know the scriptures: ask, seek, and knock. Keep on asking, pray continually, and then when it doesn't happen, we go through this season of doubt as if it's not going to happen. So yeah, because even for me, it's like I've been through these experiences where I've wanted for something for God to do for me, and the expectation was so clear. It's something that I wanted so bad, and the fact that it did not happen, I felt crushed in some sense. And then sometimes, and like I could take a step further, there's some people who have this expectation of God. Like, we know that He's sovereign, we know He's great, He can literally do anything. Nothing is impossible with God. But when something doesn't happen, we ought to. I've had a few people from this. A few people has walked away from God because circumstances have happened when it didn't come to pass. For example, like say if you have a loved one and they're dying of an illness, and you can pray, you can go to church, you can get. They're all part of the sick and shut in list. You can get a pastor with you, and we all praying for a miracle, for this happen, this, that, and the third. And then if that person passes away, there have been people that walked away from God because He didn't come through for them. So Mike, like, what's your ideas on when it comes to like expectations? Because one of the scriptures that come to my mind as I'm thinking about all this is when they're saying, man can make plans, but God's will prevail.
We all it's For me, it all goes back to the ideal of the fact that we make plans without consulting the Most High to begin with.
Mm.
And so we make plans and we have this image in our head of what our life should be like and how we want certain things to go and trying to map out every part of our life. But at the end of the day, it is let your will be done.
Mm.
Not talking about ours. That prayer is talking about the Most High in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of the times we try to make plans or we make these goals for ourselves. And a lot of them are unrealistic because we don't give ourselves the grace of being human.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not robots on a deadline trying to meet a quota or something. Like, we got to allow ourselves to be human. Even if it's something that the God's like, you know what, you could have it if you want it. Like, I don't care. It's not going to interfere with the plans I have for you.
Mm.
But we might sit here and not achieve that goal because, for whatever reason, because we're human. And then, people start to feel a certain way about things. And it's like, you got to give yourself the grace to be a person and to be human. We're not gonna be able to be robots to do all these things, right? Like, and a lot of times goals are unrealistic. These expectations are unrealistic. Like you said, you're growing up and you're about to get into college and you're thinking by 25, I'm gonna have a brand new Maybach, and like.
Further, yeah.
And like, I'm gonna have a couple of ladies, you know what I mean, and like I'm gonna have my own house already and this kind of deal, and by that time I should have this many hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank account, and you are naive in your understanding on how things work and how the world works, and into how rare it is for a 25-year-old to have money like that. But you sit here and think that you're a disappointment because you're 25 and you're still making $35,000, $40,000 a year, when to be honest, that's about where normally all of you would be.
Mm.
So I think we have unrealistic expectations that come out of being naive and not knowing how the world works. And I also think that we come up with expectations and goals for things that were without consulting God about what He has planned for our life, and the goals and expectations that we have might be in opposition to what He's trying to do with us.
For sure. And honestly, I do want to touch on that word that you used just recently. You used the word disappointed, and as I was thinking about that, like when our expectations are not met, we do get disappointed. But then think about how God feels when we're going down a route that disappoints Him, or we choose something or someone that's disappointing Him. And like how the word says, like, how He has a plan for you. So how do you think it makes Him feel if we're going down a path that's not part of His plan? And it's not fair to Him, because once that plan shambles, if it crumbles, if it shatters, He has to be the one to pick up the pieces, because there's going to be a point in time, I do believe this, like, I do hardly believe this, like, everybody has a prodigal son moment when they go back to the Father. Everybody has that point in time, and with your brokenness, you have no choice but to go to Him, and He
You call
has
me broke?
I did. I called you broke. Anyways,
I feel some type of way about that, bro.
hey, take it with you and the Lord. That's not, and your bills. Take it with Him. Take it with Him. It has nothing to do with me, player. But yeah, like, it gets to a point where it's like, He has to pick up the pieces, and that's not fair on His end. And also, I do think the reason why so many people are having these outrageous, okay, let me say unreal. Let me say unrealistic. I'm gonna say unrealistic sometimes. I'm not saying it's not possible. Some things can be done if you work at it. That's for sure. But then, like I said, is that in His will to make it happen? Because I've actually had an argument with someone. Well, I'm gonna say argument. It was a debate when it comes to people of faith. Mike, I'm pretty sure you can attest to this as well. If you got person A and person B. Person A is walking in the will of God, serving trusting Him in ministry, spreading the word, this, that, and the third. And you have a person who doesn't, who's not in the word, but they're very successful. They get back to the community. They are have this much in their bank account. They're married. Blah 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 blah. And when the debate was like, you can still be successful without going to church all the time. Now,
Okay.
Can that person have success?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's true. That person does have success, but is that in their will? Is that in God's will for them to be successful? Did they include God in that plan? Hey, are they saved? Like, don't get me wrong. Like Mike, you can attest to this. We see people who haven't gone to church a day in their life, who doesn't serve on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the church. That's true. You do have people who is in that realm for sure, but just because they have zeros in their bank account does not mean that the other person doesn't deserve that.
Most definitely, bro.
Yeah. And so that was definitely a debate. No, you're wrong. And I understood from what that person was saying for sure. Like, you can still, like, it was just like a huge discussion. I'm saying discussion, but it was a great thing to hear because, as a believer as it is, sometimes we do look at the person in the next lane, someone who's not serving as much as us, someone who doesn't pray as much as us, someone who's not as active in the ministry as us, but they have all the tangible things that the world would deem quote unquote successful. But us, we have spiritual success. We have spiritual richness. That's something like how we said on the most previous Bible study when Jesus was talking, like, don't store up all your treasures in the world where it collects dust. Like, your real treasure is in heaven, where it's that true richness, where your treasure is in heaven. So that's really like I said, things going to pass away, but we need to stop letting culture and people, and even though we're on a podcast too, but y'all really have to stop idolizing people on these podcasts who are brainwashing you to think this is what you got to do to become successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not the source. And then you got to think about where they're getting their source from. Did they get that from another podcast? Did they actually read? Did they actually say the word? You don't know. That's why one of our very first podcasts that we did, Michael, what we said, watch what you feed into your spirit. Because that 1 ounce of wrong information can lead you down a course. And it's because you set an expectation that God never had planned for you. Like I said, you writing these, you're manifesting, you're getting your crystals in line, and you're getting the vision board, and you're getting around other influencers, and you're doing these reels and these likes and posts, and you're thinking this is going to lead me to the life I truly want. That path is going to lead to destruction. Because in the word says you have to delight yourself in the Lord. In order to true success is, how can I put this? True success is having peace in this world while giving God glory in it. And honestly, that's really what we're here to do. It's to spread the will of God. And spread the name of God as well. That's what our mission, what our assignment is. Anything else is secondary after that.
You're right. You are absolutely right, sir. I have nothing to say.
That's good. Okay, let's talk about our own expectations. Like Mike, was there ever something that you had an expectation for, and you realize, okay, this is not what the Lord had planned for me, like, whatsoever?
Yeah. Going to the military.
wait, what? That was a thing for you?
Bro, I talk about it all the time. When I came out of high school, I wanted to go into the Marines, man.
I forgot about that. You did say that. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I wanted to be a Marine. That wasn't in the plans. Most High was like, nah, this isn't what I called you to do. I ain't called you to go over there and start fighting and shooting folks.
Right. Like nice,
It's like I
nice
called
try,
you to
nice
fight,
try.
but I called you to fight differently.
Right. You're right. You're a soldier, but
But
that's funny.
but you about to do things a little differently than that.
That
Yeah,
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's definitely what it was. Definitely. What was the question again?
Nah, I said, was there anything that's pretty much as like, did you have an expectation that was not in God's will?
Yeah, so it basically was just that. It definitely was I wanted to do that. Besides that though, and I just said a lot, and that's bad. Besides that, I do believe that there's a few things I wanted to do. I originally wanted to be a surgeon. I found out that probably wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And now I'm very sure that that's definitely not what I was supposed to be doing.
You said surgeon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Rodney, when we met, I was in school for medicine.
You was, yeah. I was just clarifying just for like, my own self.
Yeah, so there's that. There's actually quite a few things I would think. It's more of a lot of the things that I didn't want to do that he wanted me to do as well. So, for example, like ministry, right?
Of course, yeah.
Rodney, you know me. I'll tell you real quick, I didn't want to do all this. But it wasn't my choice on what I was being called to do.
I like that.
It was only my choice on whether or not I decided to obey. And I think as a whole, we have a problem doing so.
Nah, for real, we do. We definitely do.
I feel like I'm not adding a lot to this conversation right now.
No, you good. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, I mean, like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, no, because really, there's a lot of things that's coming to my head right now as I'm speaking. But really, okay. So let me ask, because I think we may have some listeners out there who know that they're called, but it's not necessarily attractive in something that they want to do, or even just ministry. Period. To get into like for me, just describe of what you was feeling when. Okay, so let me say this. So logically or spiritually saying, okay, God's calling me in this part of ministry, but a part of you wants to do something else. Like, how did you? Number one, how did you feel, and how did you choose? Okay, I'm doing this.
I think you have to come to grips and reconcile with the idea that you're not you don't control everything about your life. You have to eventually, if you're going to be a believer, you have to reconcile with the fact that your life isn't your own, that you have given your life over to the Most High.
So even if it doesn't feel like I should be here, but you specifically is witnessing that, okay, God has me here. He's calling me here. You still do that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even like, with some of the stuff, like even today, like that I have going on, and like, I definitely have talked to you about off the podcast and whatnot. There's quite a few things that I'll sit here and I go, nah, this isn't what I thinking is supposed to happen, or I don't believe this is what I should be doing. But at the end of the day, it's like, if Most High is telling me this is what I want you to do, then there's not even a question of like, oh, am I gonna do it or not? It's well, he just said this is what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. And really, that takes a whole different type of faith to do. Because even when it's like you're literally committing to something that you don't have the full spectrum of, or even that you feel like even feel to do, that takes real faith to walk out and do something, for real. Compared to something that you like, for example, let's just like let's say like the military thing. Let's say military, like you really wanted to do the military, like you had like your mind made up. Hey, this is what I want to
And
do.
thank God that he did not let me do that because I definitely
Mm,
wanted to be in there for the wrong reasons,
mm.
and I probably would have committed war crimes. We're just gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna leave it at that.
I know
Like,
I most definitely would have committed war crimes. Geneva Convention? Oh, what's that? That's a
what is that?
checklist.
Right. Okay. So next, okay, yeah. So next, I just want to go into like the expectations, like when I'm trying to think, like, did we kind of touch on like if we set expectation and God doesn't come through? Like, did we kind of mention something about that or no?
No, not really.
Okay. So I guess we're gonna dive into that as well. Just because, um, like I said, like I've definitely witnessed some people like when they have set the bar as something and it doesn't come through, then they automatically like blame God. Like just currently, um, I mean, like for example, like the whole reason why what expectations came about. Just give like a brief summary. Just recently, I watched a movie last night that's called Breakthrough. So just long story short, it's about a 14-year-old kid who's on an icy lake. I'm sorry, is on a frozen lake with two of his friends, and then the ice cracked. Then the three boys fell in, but then two was able to get out. But the main character, he didn't make it out of the water, so he was underwater for 15 to 20 minutes. So eventually he was rescued, but then he was in a comatose state. Well, no, well, first he was pronounced dead, but then his mother prayed over him, and they was able to get a pulse as they was in the hospital. Now um, moving forward, the come back to life. Even though scientifically this should not have happened, where like just 24 hours before that there was blood in his lungs, brain damage, this and the third, and now looking at the scans, it doesn't show like nothing has happened. So as he's healed and going back to school, a few people came to him, like some has congratulated him, saying, "I'm glad you're healthy," things of that nature. But one of his teachers, they asked him, "So why do you think God chose you?" She was just curious because she had a husband that died of a brain aneurysm in sleep, and he didn't make it. And so,
Oof, that's rough.
yeah. And then it was this other scene where he's going to his locker. It's a whole bunch of sticky notes. They congratulate him, saying like, "Now, thank you for coming back. You're a miracle. God has you covered." This and the third. And there's this one sticky note that says, um, saying like, why did God choose you? And my mom is still dying.
Ugh.
It's it's one of the things like when it comes to expectations, like how I mentioned before, like what happens when, because I won't say this, like, because this doesn't even sound right. And so let me say this sounds right because I don't think it is. Can God let you? I think that's my question, but can God let you down if you're praying to Him about something? Can
Yes.
He let? Oh, okay.
Yes. And I want to say that because I don't because first off, I don't want to invalidate anybody's feelings, right, on
Mhm.
anything. So
Mhm.
the reason why I say God can let you down is because we can have expectations, all right? We can have expectations of things that he has himself has not qualified for us.
Hmm.
So we can sit here and say, I expect this, I expect this and I expect that. But at the end of the day, if he himself has not said, this is what I'm going to do, then yeah, we can end up feeling like we've been let down in a sense. Because we had an expectation of our minds that he's going to do this. And at the end of the day, he didn't do this. Why didn't he do this for us? Well, he never said he was going to do this.
That's true. That's definitely true. And that's why I was kind of like on the 50 fence about it, because like just how you said, I didn't know, because technically, okay, he hasn't, but he has. So I did like the fact that you have like just clarify that, just so it can make sense for. But I do like how you say that though, because sometimes like when things don't go as we prayed for and hoped for, we can develop a hard heart in that sense, and not want to go to God no more. Like I do have a friend, and their brother passed away from heart issues at a very early age. I'll say like mid to late 20s, and for some years, like they decided, like, hey, I'm angry at God. Like, hey, I don't want nothing to do with you no more. It's like, and it doesn't make sense when you got other people who has done numerous amount of things, harmful things, and they're still able to walk around and breathe and be happy. So how come you couldn't give that person that same amount of grace? And that's one thing about expectations. Like, hey, I'm expecting you to do this. Now, don't get me wrong. God loves bold faith and bold prayers. Don't get me wrong. He loves that. Just the simple fact that you have enough humility to go to him to pray about something, that is amazing. That's good. He loves the fact that you're choosing me as the source to fulfill any one of your needs. And just like how the Bible says, like he'll supply all of your needs. So when it comes to things like that, it can feel like a letdown, especially when we're talking about death. Like say, like I lost my grandmother in 2016, 2017. That was one of the hardest pains I ever felt. And
Rest in heaven, Queen.
Rest in heaven. It's like there were moments when I was, matter of fact, I'm taking a step further, Mike. I was mad at God when I left from Atlanta. That was one of the days when I was most angry, and I haven't expressed this story like last week, the week before last. That was the moments when I felt the most depressed, the most angry, the most confused, and I didn't understand what was going on. It didn't make sense. I got this life in Atlanta. I got friends. I got a good job. Finding myself in the career I want to do and things of that nature. And like, it didn't make sense. I had this great, amazing life. The next thing you know, I'm waking up, open my eyes. Now I'm back in Cleveland on 105 in the hood. I'm like, hold up. This is not right. This, like, what is going on? Like, I didn't have a operating phone at that moment, because you got to have a job to pay your phone bill. So at that point, I had to use my sister's phone to text people and call people just to do.
That's whose phone you was using?
No, okay, so around the time when I called you, no, that was actually my actual phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the actual phone. Because around that time, that's when I was able to get a job at that point. But like I said, just like the first. Okay, so I moved back in April. I didn't get a job till October. I didn't get a job till like October. So yeah, so like majority of the summer, like I said, at my house we didn't have Wi-Fi either. So there was a library right down the street. So that means early in the morning, I had to go to the library when they first opened up for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm doing job applications, and they give you like a 2-hour time limit on there. So by the time I'm done, I had to go back home and try to figure some things out, and then. Yeah, that was like an everyday thing until I found a job.
I do remember you telling me that.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to interviews, and I'm getting denied for these interviews from this, that, and the third. And like I said, this gets a little, it plays around on you, because this is not the life that I live. Like, God, this cannot be you. But also, I will say this. I'll say this. This is the great thing about this moment, where at that same moment, I was mad at God about what happened to me. But at that same moment, this is what pushed me to God in the first place. Because something in me was like, I have to go to church. Something in me said, hey, I need some type of spiritual healing or whatever. That's when I was able to. I'm visiting different churches in my neighborhood. I'm thinking about photography at this moment, so I'm going back to school. I met some friends along the way that helped me get into a real home church this time. And then, like I said, now I got a more steady job. And next thing you know, I get in touch back with you. We're talking rekindling. I get my first apartment.
Rekindling.
We definitely rekindle. We definitely rekindle.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
Okay, we all right. Let's see. We
My
got back.
mind's in the gutter. I acknowledge that.
When is it? So yeah, then next thing you know, I'm at where I'm at right now, and then it's like that was, like I said, that was a moment when I was angry at God because I felt like something was taken away from me, or I had an expectation on how my life in Atlanta was supposed to be, and not because of a moment that happens. I felt all that was taken away from me. But this goes back to what I'm about to say. Like, even something that does happen outside of God's plan, He's still so merciful. He can turn it around for good. And honestly, I can say this: if it wasn't for me moving back to Cleveland, I don't think my faith would be as strong as it is right now. I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast right now, for real.
Well, the crazy thing is, Rodney,
Speak.
and this is amazing. God did us the same in the same year. Think
Talk
about
that
it.
talk, man.
You moved out. You moved back in February. I moved away from Georgia in what, June? No, July. It was July 4th that I was there. Well, 3rd, the night of the 3rd. That's right, because Axel was born technically on the 4th or 3rd. One of them, I don't remember. But yeah, so yeah, bro, like it was the same thing for both of us. We had an expectation of something here. And he was like, I need to separate the both of y'all from where you are to make you grow, because you're not going to grow where you are. Because think of it, bro. The way I was on too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Bro, you knew me.
I know. Nah, for real. I
was doing, I started off when I knew you going to church, singing in the worship team and worshiping the Lord, doing what I'm supposed to do. And not even gradually, very quickly.
For sure.
Very quickly, that turned into something completely different.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. So that go to show, and I think like that gives a good perspective on like when it comes to expectations. It's like I said, we will never know the full picture of what God's purpose or what his plan is, but that's why we just have to trust. Like how you said, our life is not our own. And it's like, don't get me wrong, like, y'all, I get it. You don't have financial burdens no more. You don't want to be stressed out. You want to have peace. You want to provide the life that you envision in your head and make sure your kids don't grow up in the same way how you have. You just want to break generational curses. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I get it. Like I said, life is not easy. Like, I wish it was. Like,
life be lifing.
Life be lifing, man. But life be lifing. Like, I ain't gonna front. Like, yo, it's hard, man. Like the fact all these people with the 800 numbers calling me, I'm like, yo, take a ticket number. Take a ticket number. You're not the only one that's calling, bro.
Debt collectors sitting here like, hey, run me my money. Run me my money.
I'm like, man, can I have my money first? I'm like, this don't make no sense.
It's my money and I want it now.
It's my money and I need it now. Yeah, it's like, for real though, it's like, but it's like you can't let success be an idol. You really have to seek God, because like He's gonna provide all your needs. Like, so many of us, like we praise we praise the resource, but not the actual source. Like, you do have to realize, like, God is the one who provides everything in this world. like just how easy he can make it available to us, he can also take it away as well. No, God is a jealous God. So it's like when it comes to these expectations that we do have, we have to align and see, hey, is this part of God's will? Or even like better yet, like I'll say this: how many times have we seen something just because someone else had it? I'll give you a clear example. Like it's messed up how this happens, but I'm gonna say this. So my friend's two dogs. This is a good example. This the
Keep it rated PG.
it is. I mean, it is. Like I'm give you a clear example. So each of them can have the same toy, or the same food, or the same bone, whatever. Dog A will just be chilling, eating the bone or playing with the toy, whatever, while dog B can be doing his own thing, but he'll look at what the other person has, even though it's the same exact thing. But they're not satisfied with what they have, so he goes over to on that side and try to take what was his. Same thing with us. Like, how many times are we looking at something just because someone else has it, and we're not satisfied with what we have? Now, don't get me wrong. God does want to bless you exceedingly and abundantly, above all things that we ask or think. But let's not be greedy, neglect people in our life, lose sleep, lose our health, both mental and physical, just to obtain success or a better life.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
You are absolutely right.
yeah. Because I've definitely seen some people who lost themselves just trying to gain success, or like trying to,
The curse of comparison, bro.
pretty much, yeah.
The only reason that happens and you're envying other people is because you're comparing what you have and what you are, what you're doing to what they are doing and have.
Right. Yeah. So how do you think to like how do you stop doing that? Like how do you stop comparing to people? Do you develop gratitude, or like what do you do?
Bingo! No, you really hit the nail right on the head right there. Gratitude. Gratitude will end all of that. Once you are grateful for what you have and what you've been blessed with, you're not going to be looking over what other people have. Because when you start looking at everybody else's stuff and what everybody else is doing, you're not grateful for the position that you're in and the things that you have. Your eyes are looking somewhere else the entire time instead of being focused on, hey, I have this right now.
Yeah, no, that's true, and that's something that's that's definitely profound. Like I always hear people say you gotta have an attitude of gratitude, which is really something that is essential. That's something that like the Lord always wants us to do, to have gratitude and give thanksgiving. That's really an essential thing to have, just so you won't fall into that trap of comparison. I remember I was this conversation with someone the other day, and then just one of the things I've been noticing is like when I'll say this, Mike, you probably seen this before, like when a woman is on social media and then she sees this post of like another couple where the boyfriend probably had like a room full of roses and balloons and like a 8-foot teddy bear in the room with candles lit and everything, and then in her mind, she had an expectation that her boyfriend would do something like that. But say if he comes home and he brings like a single rose and a box of chocolates, whatever, he'd be like, "No, she's not satisfied. Like she wants what she sees on TV or through that screen." And so, and that leaves like a like how you said, you're comparing, and that comparison kills. Like you'll never know. Like at least that person thought of you enough to get you that rose and a box of chocolates. As a matter of fact, just be grateful that
Be
you actually
grateful, man.
who you have somebody. There's people out here who can't even get a dang text back right now. So
Goodness, my inbox dry.
my inbox is going through a famine right now. Okay, so it's like but yeah, it's like you can't compare things like that, because when you compare something, you are neglecting what you already have. And like I say, you're not grateful for what God has blessed you with. And like I said, God is a jealous God. So like he's like, don't worry about what the next man what they got. Like I blessed you exceedingly and abundantly. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm overflowing your cup, and you're still not satisfied with I've given you. Like you're so busy worried about the people who's in a 3 foot apartment. I'm sorry, 3 bedroom apartment. When I just blessed you with an apartment just last year.
Yeah, you'd be like, big enough. What do you have though?
Exactly. Like what do you have?
Like, did I bless you or not? Do you have life? Yes.
Hmm.
Your health is good, even though you don't take care of yourself. Because my hand's been on you, so you're not in the hospital. Even
Hmm.
though I've been showing you people who are ill and not in the best of shape to try and get you to behave and do right.
Hmm.
You have a house that you're sleeping in. You have a vehicle. Yes, it might have some problems sometimes, but that's the cost of having a vehicle.
Hmm.
And you complain about your house isn't good enough. You complain that instead of driving a Honda Civic, you wanted a Maybach. Be
Hmm.
grateful for what you have and stop comparing yourself to other people.
Hmm.
Stop expecting to be like everybody else. Your expectation should be to be all that God has called you to be, not what He has called the next person over there to be.
Exactly. And also, let's think about this. There's probably someone out there who's probably comparing themselves to you,
Mm-hmm.
whether you know it or not. Like there's, like Mike, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there who is envious of what you have right now. Now they don't know what's going on behind closed doors or what you're going through, but there's probably someone out there who probably sees like, man, you know what, I want what Mike has.
I hope they don't.
Man, people look at me like, man, right, Rodney, you just doing it all, man. Like man, I want what Rodney has. No, no, you don't, cause
I tell them all the time, you don't want what I got.
exactly. I was just gonna say, I was just gonna say that, Mike.
You don't want
Like,
what I got.
I was just gonna
You
say
don't
that
want nothing to
because
do with me. You don't want nothing to
you
do with
do
all this.
don't exactly. You do not want to do it. You do not want to do that. Also, Mike, another thing I was thinking about was also is stewardship as well. I think I think right now is like I'm getting less off of expectation and more on elevation right now. Is like, of course, when it comes to expectation, um, through you having enough faith to believe there's another level you're getting at, which is elevation. So when it comes to that, of course, no God is in control of all of your elevation in your walk in your life. I do think God would definitely bless you based off of your stewardship over those things as well. Since we're talking about like gratitude, He's seeing what I've given you. I'm checking your your heart and your mind, how you handling in this season. Because I'm laying here and I'm just watching to see what you're going to do in this season with what I blessed you with. I'm going to be humble and be grateful about what I've given you, or are you going to complain a bit and try to hustle and grind to get to that next level that I did not ordain for you to be in?
Mm-hmm.
And really, like when it comes to stewardship, that's not like really a sexy word that most people like say. No, when they think about stewardship, they think about just about finances. But no, 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 no. I'm just talking about God saying, how hands on are you with what I've given you? Like, are you? Is this a reminder of what I can do for you, what I've done for you, what I am doing to you, and what I'm going to do for you? Is is that car that I've given you a reminder of how good I am? Is that house I've given you a reminder of how good I am? Is that spouse I've given you a reminder about how
Oh, say
sovereign
that
I
one
am?
again.
Is that spouse I've given you a reminder of how sovereign I am? Because all these things I've just mentioned, they are gifts. Just like how salvation, it is a gift. It's nothing that you've earned for me to give that to you. Just because you are my child and I'm God, I want to give you this. Now, any parent has given their God, I mean, any parent that has given their child a gift, they like to hear the word thank you. How many times have we woke up this morning and did not say thank you?
Guilty.
I'll admit, I wake up and I go do my morning routine, but like God's looking about how we steward these things. It's probably because you're not where you are at, you're probably not in a higher role in your ministry. Is because you're not being stewards over the area where you're at right now. But instead, you're complaining about, oh, I can do better than this person, or hey, I can sing better than this person. Okay, but are you being a steward where you're at right now? Are you serving right now, or are you just putting on a mask until you can find your way to slither in? Are you being a steward at work? Are you serving at work? Are you saying hi to everybody? Are you serving the work to them? Are you being nice to evil, being nice to every single person in there, even though they're not deserving of that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I say, yeah, like God is observant on how we do things, and the elevation comes when we operate in gratefulness and we're stewarding over what He has given us.
Most definitely, Rodney.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Mike, you got any thoughts? Any thoughts?
Um, just to, I'm not going to say temporary expectations, but I would say before you create an expectation, take it before the throne first. Take it to prayer before you start expecting things in life. Because to be honest, a lot of the times we come off as entitled little brats. Like if you think about God, He's a father. God the Father, right? He's the provider and everything. As a father, you want everything that's best for your child, right? You want your child to come to you and tell you when they want certain things, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You want your child to expect the things that you told them that you were going to do for them. But what happens when your child comes up and expects a Rolls Royce from you? They just woke up one day and was like, I expect you to buy me a Rolls Royce. I expect for you to buy me a new house. I expect for you to find me a girlfriend. I expect for you to do this and this. I expect for you to get this job for me that's paying 6 figures. No, 7 figures. And I don't have to do the work for it. You hear how entitled that sounds?
For real.
And how
yeah,
bratty that sounds? So there are certain things we should expect. I expect that my bills will be paid. I expect that I will be alive. I expect that I will keep my health. I expect that that the things that He has for me are for me. But I don't come expecting that He's just going to do things like He's a genie.
For sure. That's exactly how I feel. It's like for me, I'm at the point in my walk. It's like how you said earlier. It's like God, let Your will be done. It's like allow for my heart to be aligned with Your will. I'm at the point right now is like I'm delighting myself in Him. I'm letting go, and for Him to give me the strength to be okay, even if it doesn't go my way. And honestly, that's like one of the hardest things that any person can pray. Is God, I'm giving to You. Let Your will be done. That's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, even Jesus himself said that, and that's like I said. Do you think He really wanted to get sliced, stabbed through His hands, and wear like a crown of thorns on His hands, and carrying that heavy cross? Lord knows I didn't, but it's like, well, this is what You call me to do. This was in your plan. I'm a character in your story. Like you never seen a character try to rewrite their own words in the script. Like,
And you know what's crazy?
what's up?
Is we want to have all these expectations for God, but we don't want to expect Him to have, but we don't expect His expectations for us.
Exactly. I 100% agree. I definitely agree. And honestly, that shows true obedience and respect in relationship. Like honestly, that's really why I'm studying in the Bible right now. Like, okay, God, what is your instruction for me? Because I want to meet your standards. What do you like? What do you say I should act? How should I behave? How should I think? What should I do? Because, like I said, you're the manufacturer. I'm just a product of you. So like, what I'm your invention. So how am I supposed to operate?
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, no, that's all I got to say about today's episode. I think this was really good. It was really good. It's all about
Whack.
expectations. Man, get out of here, man. Yours was whack.
I said quack.
Oh, well, I still stand by what I said. So,
I was
but
I was saying I'm a duck right now. A
McDuck.
majestic duck.
Howard the Duck. Nah, but yeah, y'all. Thank you for tuning on this episode. This was a truly great, amazing episode where we talking about expectations, how to give things to God, how to steward it, and how we should meet His standards and His expectations as well. If you did like today's episode, please subscribe to our channel. You can find us on all digital podcast formats. And you can also follow us on social media as well, on Facebook, on Instagram as well. You can like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any ideas for any of the topics today, please don't hesitate to email us at the Godman Podcast at gmail.com. We would
Have you
love to
checked
hear.
that recently? Because I haven't.
I'll definitely check it right after this episode. But we are definitely going to. We want some feedback from y'all, and definitely like get some insight. You know, me and Mike can't come up with all these topics. You know, we want to pick y'all brains as well, and let's just talk and converse. And we're looking forward to that.
I beat
Mike, you
you
got
to it.
any? Mike, you got any closeout remarks? If you got any questions.
Uh, um, I mean, no, not really.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then we're gonna see y'all next week.
Deuces.
Bye.